Remember last week when we said we were going to talk about entropy? Well, today's the day. Entropy is why you can't unbreak an egg. And it's also why time can't go backward. So, in case you're fuzzy on how the principle of entropy actually works, here's your 2-minute refresher course. When I said entropy is why you can't unbreak an egg, I mean it's the reason why you can't unbreak an egg. Newton's first law of motion doesn't really care if your egg unbreaks, and neither does quantum physics. Both of those can go in either direction. The principle that takes issue is the second law of thermodynamics. That says there's a natural tendency for things to degenerate into increasing disorder, also known as entropy. Things go from low entropy, or more order, to high entropy, or more disorder, and never the opposite. For example, think about ice. Water molecules in an ice cube are in an ordered arrangement. That's how it can keep its shape, after all. But plunk an ice cube into a glass of lemonade, and it'll eventually melt. That's entropy. There are more ways for the water molecules and the energy they carry to arrange themselves in a liquid state than in a solid state. So it's a lot more likely that the ice will melt than stay frozen. Similarly, there are so many more ways for an egg to arrange itself broken than whole that it's basically impossible that the broken egg would ever rearrange its molecules into an unbroken state.
So if you have 1 million molecules arranged in a ball, there's only one way for those molecules to be arranged in that ball. Any other arrangement, any other finitely possible arrangement is something else. So probabilistically, it's not going to happen.
They're not going to just land into that formation. They could, but they're incredibly unlikely to. There's also an interesting implication in the second law of thermodynamics. Thermodynamic processes are anything involving the transfer or conversion of heat energy. And since they all must result in an increase in entropy, they're irreversible. The thing is, in theory, there are interactions that don't involve heat transfer, but in practice, everything has inefficiencies that result in friction or other types of heat loss. So this law pretty much applies to everything. So if nothing is reversible, time isn't either. Time always flows in the direction of increasing entropy. Scientists are still trying to answer questions like how gravity affects entropy and why the universe began in a low entropy state. Someday, maybe we'll have answers. But for now, you've got one more reason to check your eggs before you buy them at the grocery store.